Almost all my life, I thought I had to be motivated to achieve things. I asked myself, what's wrong with me? Why don't I have the motivation, the ambition, the fire of successful people, people I aspire to be? Why is it that others are achieving things and I can't even motivate myself to get out of bed? It turns out all those success books about finding your motivation were just fancy ways of saying, get your butt out of bed. Do the thing even if you don't feel like doing it. It's that simple. The moment you make the conscious decision to do something you don't want to do, regardless of how much resistance you're facing, that's when you actually start achieving things. Think about Cristiano Ronaldo or Andrew Tate or whoever you look up to. Do you think they wake up every morning and they want to train? No, they train even when they don't feel like it. I'm not saying you shouldn't be motivated. Sure, use motivation as extra fuel on top of your self-discipline, but don't rely on motivation for getting things done. There are 3 reasons why you shouldn't rely on motivation. Number 1, motivation is fleeting and external, often triggered by external factors like inspiration, excitement, or rewards. Number 2, motivation can be quick to rise, but even quicker to fade, especially when faced with challenges. Think about that last time you wanted to do a project, and then once you started it, you realized how hard it was, and then you just completely gave up. Motivation is dependent on emotion, and emotion is subject to change. Number 3, motivation isn't a reliable fuel source for getting things done. It works sometimes, but it's not efficient or effective. You might be asking, if we don't use motivation, how do we get things done? Well, that's where self-discipline comes in. The definition of self-discipline is doing the thing even when you don't feel like doing it. There's 3 benefits to self-discipline over motivation. Number 1, discipline is something internal and consistent. You're driven by values, goals, and commitments, independent of external factors or how you feel. It's setting an alarm and getting out of bed regardless of how tired you feel, because you know you have responsibilities and you know you have a duty to fulfill. Number 2, discipline is active. It's a conscious decision to do something regardless of how one feels internally, so you're not constrained by your emotions. It's about showing up and doing the work consistently. Number 3, discipline is sustainable long term, and it leads to long-term progress and attainment of your goals because it's not reliant on temporary feelings or external circumstances. Like, I'll give you an example. My dad, he works out, he goes for a run or whatever, only when my little brothers want to go with him. I don't know why he does that. But let's say my little brothers, they don't want to exercise that day. Well, he's kind of created a habit of exercising with a group. That's not good, because how about the days where they might not be available? Are you just not going to exercise that day? Where motivation is a temporary fuel source, self-discipline is constant, and therefore reliable. Now that you know the importance of discipline, you might be asking, how does one increase their discipline? How do we get more of it? It's simple. Discipline is like a muscle. You have to train every time you do something when you don't feel like it. It's 1 rep plus 1 for your discipline. The more reps you do, the stronger your discipline. One practical way I incorporate this is by doing either burpees, push-ups, or if you want to go advanced, do pull-ups. They're very hard, but the more you do it, the more mentally and physically tough you become. I hope this helps. If it did, leave a sub. Bye for now.